for the soul. Give me that orange soda. Give me a grape like you see in the movies. Bubble to the top like a smoothie, you'll see. I'll do you like a nut.
What up, Salty Crew? Welcome back to another video. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Nicole. I'm the creator of More Salt Please. I love sharing low-carb, plant-based recipes, kitchen tips and tricks, mukbangs, lifestyle videos, but most importantly, I like creating a space for vegans and non-vegans to feel welcome. So I'm glad to have you here. Today, I'm gonna be sharing with you my top meal prep hacks. Now, a lot of you might not know this, but I am actually a personal chef and I have meal prepped for clients in the past, and I have worked in the restaurant industry for years. I've worked in the kitchen, so I have picked up a lot of information and knowledge that I want to share with you. So to start out, I always make sure that I have a couple of different protein sources for the week. And like I said earlier, I am plant-based, so I love using tofu or tempeh, and I'm a big fan of marinating and seasoning my tempeh and tofu. For tofu, you always want to make sure that you press it for at least 30 minutes. So you put it in between two plates and some paper towels or kitchen towels or something, and put something heavy on top, like a cast iron skillet or like a big stack of books or something. That will help the liquid get out of it, so that whatever you marinate the tofu in, it will soak it up like a sponge, and it will just be saturated by that flavor. And then when you cook it, it'll have a really good flavor and texture to it. So I like to start out by pressing my tofu. I'll cut it into cubes, and then I'll marinate it in some sort of sauce. Some other pre-made sauces and marinades that I like. One is from Trader Joe's, the soyaki sauce. And then they also have an island soyaki sauce that I really like. I like classic barbecue. You can choose any sauce that tastes good to you and marinate tofu in it, and it will be delicious. I personally like marinating my tofu overnight, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mix it together in this Tupperware, store it in the fridge overnight, and then the next day I'll roast it in the oven. So I'll layer it on a parchment paper lined baking sheet and put it in the oven. I usually set the oven at like 400, 425, and I let it go for about 20-25 minutes. I'll flip it halfway through. It'll be nice and crispy and delicious, and it'll be full of that flavor, whatever marinade that you put it in, and it is so good. It'll go with whatever you want it to. I like putting it on bowls, salads, sandwiches, whatever you want. And then with tempeh, the thing to remember is that you always want to steam it before you marinate it. A lot of people say they don't like tempeh, but it's really because they aren't preparing it properly, and they probably aren't steaming it. When you don't steam it, it has a bitter flavor to it. So you really want to make sure that you steam it for at least 15 minutes before you do anything else to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to marinate it in this Asian peanut sauce that I made the other day, and I'm gonna marinate that just like the tofu overnight. And then in the morning, I'm going to roast it in the oven, again at 400, 425 for about 20 minutes, flipping halfway through. And then I just store it in a glass container, and then I'll put it on salads, bowls, whatever I want. I'll just snack on it throughout the week, and it's a quick and easy protein source, which is great. Something else that I love to do that's been such a time saver is I will take one of those bags of peeled garlic that you can get at like Trader Joe's or Aldi's. They usually have them at like most grocery stores now. I'll unpackage all of the garlic cloves. Sorry about the plastic. This is a pure convenience thing. If you want to avoid plastic, just go ahead and buy like a bunch of bulbs of garlic, and then you can avoid the plastic altogether. But this week I was in a little bit of a rush, so I'm sorry. So with 1/2 of the garlic cloves, you're gonna roast it in the oven. Roasted garlic is probably one of my favorite things of all time. It's so good. So a really awesome trick to roasting a bunch of garlic at once is that you take all the garlic cloves, you put it in a little like aluminum foil nest kind of, and you drizzle a good amount of avocado oil in there, and you season it with salt and pepper, and then you're gonna seal the aluminum foil up, like kind of like an aluminum foil purse almost. And then I place it on a baking sheet just to be safe. I don't want the oil to leak everywhere in the oven. That will be a disaster. And then you just roast it in the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes. It might take longer, but just check on it at the 30-minute mark, and you know it's done when the garlic cloves are nicely just slightly golden brown, and you can stick a knife or a fork into it really easily. You want to make sure that you can like spread it on a piece of bread super easily. It should be like butter. And then I just store that in a glass container, and it'll last in your fridge for so long. I'm talking like months, and you can just like toss it in whatever you want. Salads, marinades, sauces, homemade salad dressings. It will be the best thing ever. And then with the second half of the garlic cloves, I will add it to a food processor. I'll blitz it up, get it nice and minced. And then once it's minced, I'll scoop it out and put it into a little glass jar, and I'll cover the minced garlic in oil. I like using avocado oil, and this will just help preserve it. Otherwise, it'll get rancid really quickly. And now you have minced garlic throughout the week. I mean, this will last like 2-3 weeks in your fridge if you cover it with enough oil. And whenever you're cooking either like soup or a stir fry or whatever, you can literally just scoop out a spoonful of the minced garlic and throw it in the pan. You don't have to like take out your cutting board and cut it all up, which is so annoying to do. So I love this trick, and has saved me so many times. Now, this next tip won't apply to people who usually get their salad greens in those big plastic bins. I used to be one of those people, and now I have seen the light. I no longer can do that. The whole heads of lettuce are just so much fresher and more delicious, in my opinion. I can never go back. So here's what I do. I'll buy those heads of lettuce at the grocery store, and that day when I get home, or the day after, but usually the day of that I grocery shop, I'll come home, I'll cut the lettuce into small pieces, and then I'll rinse it. So a way to rinse lettuce, the best way, in my opinion, is to get a big bowl or a pot or something, fill it with cold water, cut your lettuce, put the lettuce in the bowl of water, and then let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes, and all of the sediment, the like gritty dirt stuff, will sink to the bottom of the bowl. So then after that, I just spin it in a salad spinner and get it nice and dry, and then you have clean, crisp lettuce ready to go. And a way to store it to make sure that it stays crisp all week long is I'll actually get a big gallon Ziploc bag, and I'll put it in there along with a piece of paper towel or something. If you want to avoid plastic, although I do reuse my Ziploc bags, you can just take a big Tupperware container and line it with a kitchen towel, and then put your lettuce in there, whatever green that you're cutting up and rinsing for the week. So you're gonna clean it like you normally would, give it a good shake, give it a spin in the salad spinner to get it nice and dry, and then put it in the Tupperware, close it up, and you're good to go. You just wanna make sure that you keep your greens dry. The worst thing to do is if you rinse your greens and then you put it in a container and they're still wet. Ugh, that's a good way to get them nice and soggy and disgusting. So don't do that. The next thing I love to do for meal prep is batch cooking. I love batch cooking so much. I'm not the type of person who meal preps individually packaged things. I like to batch cook a thing of rice, quinoa, beans, whatever, keep it in one large container and kind of just do whatever I want with it throughout the week. Nothing is worse than eating the same thing over and over and over again throughout the week. Personally, for me, that sounds like hell on earth. So I prefer batch cooking as opposed to individually packaging up all my meal prep stuff, because it just allows more room for flexibility and variety throughout the week. So I like doing quinoa a lot. You can do so much with it. So I cook a big batch of quinoa, rice, beans, something along those lines, and it lasts me the whole week. And then I also like to cut up fresh veggies and store them in water. And this is great for a number of different reasons. It's great because usually if you can't see your produce in the fridge, you're not gonna eat it and it's gonna go bad. So if you have it peeled, cleaned, ready to go, it's sitting in water, it's visible to you in your fridge, you're probably gonna eat it. And the best part about keeping it in water is that it'll be nice and crisp and delicious. You wanna not do this with veggies that are a little bit more delicate, like cucumber or something like that. Cucumber is always best when you cut it right before you're gonna eat it. So I like doing this with carrots and celery the most. They stay so delicious and crispy. So that's a great way to eat more veggies and eat the veggies in your fridge without having them go bad. Another great thing I love to do when I'm meal prepping is use my Instant Pot. Oh my gosh, you guys, if you don't have an Instant Pot, what are you doing with your life? They are so amazing. If your oven is like full of stuff that you're cooking, but you need to cook other things, like it's perfect for meal prep because you don't have to use the oven for it. Like you can roast butternut squashes. You can roast spaghetti squashes in an Instant Pot. You can roast potatoes in there. You just add a little bit of water, close it up, put it on the sealing position, hit manual, and like adjust the time to whatever you're cooking, and boom, in like 30, 40 minutes, you have a tender root vegetable that is ready to eat. I'm obsessed with it. So while you're cooking your butternut squash, your spaghetti squash in the Instant Pot, you can be roasting veggies in your oven. It's so time efficient. Another must for me when it comes to meal prepping is making a couple of sauces or dressings to use throughout the week to just make my food more exciting and delicious. I love making my cashew ranch dressing, which is so good. It's full of simple, delicious ingredients. It has fresh herbs in there, so it's nice and vibrant and light, and it's just, oh, it's my favorite thing ever. I love it. And then I also love to make my Asian peanut sauce. I could drizzle that on anything and it could taste good. And then my last tip that I have for you is to just roast all of the veggies. I like roasting things on 1 or 2 days of the week just so I can get it out of the way. But if you don't have time to roast stuff all in one day or you don't want to, a good tip that I have is literally when you get home from the grocery store the day after, just cut up whatever you want to roast, either like cauliflower, carrots, whatever, and put it in a plastic bag, cut it up, clean it, get it ready to go so that throughout the week, when you do want to roast something and you want it to be fresh, you can just have it ready to go. Literally just plop it on your baking sheet, drizzle some oil, season it, and you're good to go. So those are some of my favorite meal prep tips and tricks that I use every week to make meal prep more enjoyable for me. I just love prepping individual ingredients, so I have the freedom to make whatever dish I want. I can just use all of the ingredients, throw it together in a new dish, and call it a day. I don't have to eat the same thing over and over again. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, tell me your thoughts. Tell me what other meal prep type videos you want to see from me next. And before you go, stop what you're doing right now. Go follow me on Instagram if you aren't already. Add more salt, please. Your girl is trying to get to 10K so I can get the swipe up feature. It'll just make life so much easier, not only for me, but for you too. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to take care of yourself this week, eat good food, and I will see you in the next one.
Bubble to the top like a smoothie, you'll see. I'll do you like a 9 to 5. Wake up rested like a Gemini. I don't bother superstition, but I listen to ya.